Well, good Thursday morning. Welcome to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330, FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. My name is Colin Worthington. My guest I'll introduce you to right now. He was diagnosed with autism at the age of 4, often denied the chance to play baseball. He refused to let stereotypes stop him. Instead, he turned his passion into purpose by founding a movement that now spans 12 states.
Yes.
12 states. Offering inclusive opportunities for teens and adults with autism and other disabilities to play America's favorite pastime. Now he's also he's been featured on ESPN, the Today Show, WGN-TV. Saw Fox News this morning on there. And he is speaking at the Rotary Club of Bremen today.
Yes.
At 12 noon.
Yes. How'd you know?
do some research. Found that
amazing.
Out. And so it works out. You coming out here today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's amazing.
His name is Taylor Clark Duncan, and
hello.
He is not a shy kid. He's been on the show probably about a year ago, as we talked about.
Sometime a year ago, then a year
baseball.
Before that. Yeah,
you've got a big game coming up later on this fall. We'll talk about
November.
that during this program. But let's go back to the beginning.
Yes.
So diagnosed at 4 years old. Why did I'm guessing your parents took you to the doctor or check it out? How did that come? What were you doing? What were you not doing that led them to have to get checked out?
I had a lot of speech issues and sensory delays, anxiety issues. You name it, it was probably there at the time, just about. And really, too, my mother took me to the Marcus Center in downtown Atlanta because it was one of the only diagnostic places to get a diagnosis at the time, and that was where I was diagnosed as on the spectrum, and then that's really where that path really started. And there wasn't a lot of resources in 2000 and 2001 when I was diagnosed. And so my mother took whatever resources she could, God bless her, and books, methods, whatever she could do to help make me as independent as I could possibly be. And that's where I am today, passing down the life skills, not just the baseball skills that I've learned through the years through that own unconventional path, but really teaching the life skills through communication, through teamwork, through leadership, and also doing it all under a biblical framework as well to pass to others just like myself who may have not had that kind of support system when they were younger.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd say in the area, you're somebody they can look up to, and somebody. I mean, they're reaching out to you. Others are reaching out to you for advice. Maybe parents,
of course.
Yeah. So, would you recommend? Or I'm guessing you recommend that. Hey, I mean, what should parents look for? Do you think if they're the child's 0 through 4, and then say maybe you want to get checked out?
I think the biggest thing is the speech, the anxiety, the resistance to textures, the resistance in terms of noise sensitivities. That was a huge thing for me too when I was younger, and I don't mind playing in front of big crowds. I love playing in front of big crowds, and I love talking to big crowds of people like this.
Yeah. And see, that's unique, I think.
Yes.
I mean, as far as having autism, being on the spectrum, it's a unique characteristic.
But when you're smack in the middle of those crowds yourself,
sometimes
that can be a bit of a problem with people, 100,000 people next to you at stadiums, with just being in the midst of that, the noise. At least when you're speaking and when you're actually playing on field, you know how to prepare for that. But when it comes to spontaneity and that kind of thing, that can be a little bit tougher to handle and manage for many. That's another clear sign as well, really. But
so you're aware there's a need for preparation then?
Absolutely. Preparation is key and key for everything. I'll tell you a story, too. When I was doing my TED Talk in downtown Atlanta in 2019.
Name dropping. all his TV shows, TED Talk.
Well, the big thing with that is when you weren't in a certain block, because they had the conference spread out an entire day. And so when you weren't in that entire block, they had the rest of the speakers go out in that really crowded atrium and that crowded auditorium, and they tried to push everybody to socialize as much as they could. But when you deal with somebody like myself on the spectrum that needs extra time to prepare to be able to speak toward the end of the day, because they had me in the very last block of the day, when that happened too, with that that was when, after I just struggled with that, and that's when I stayed in the backstage area until eventually I was called on stage because the noise sensitivities, and it was more crowded in that front atrium of the Rialto Theater, the Rialto Center downtown, than I think I saw at Grand Central in New York City. It was packed full. There was about 1,000, 1,200 people there.
Taylor Clark Duncan, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. Definitely going to talk more about the Alternative Baseball League here in just a second. The noise sensitivity, what does that do? I mean, is it just creates anxiety?
Yeah, it can. With that, it's pretty much what it is, an insensitivity to that. And basically, too, that is another huge red flag typically as well. Mm-hmm. But the biggest thing is the social skills. You can never stop working on those. And what I learned is even after you graduate from school, autism doesn't stop at age 18. The IDEA Act, once that expires, so many end up going back home and never really getting back out much in society. And that's a terrible thing. That's a very sad thing to see happen. And that's why our program comes in, not just promoting the sport of baseball for those with disabilities, but giving everybody a sense of purpose to be able to be part of a team setting, to be able to continue learning those life and communication and leadership and teamwork skills that are very valuable for life off the baseball diamond, that can give them that motivation again to go out there and achieve whatever dreams that they would like to achieve in their lives.
Well, it's about a decade with this alternative baseball.
Yes, since 2016.
Do you have any stories that jump out at you that, as far as individuals you've seen develop and mature, maybe not so much in baseball, but the other things you're trying to create?
We've had those that have gone and sought employment after joining our program, wanting to get behind the wheel of a vehicle. They're wanting to do more and get more out there, not just to play baseball, but to become even more productive members of society. And that's the biggest thing that's important about this, too, is we're giving them an outlet to really go out there and to be themselves and to find their own skills, to find their own talents, and continue developing them from where they are at to where they want to go through different tracks and everything else that we're working on.
All right, let me give you one more question before we go on our break, and then we'll hit the alternative baseball really hard. What is the test? Because we say, well, they were tested and diagnosed here, but what is the test?
The test in terms of the diagnostic test?
To determine if somebody's on the spectrum.
They have different exercises that they typically do, and I think it varies from area to area where you go. But they test you in understanding certain styles of language, literal language, things like that, and different competencies of social skills, as well as, I think, it's been a long time since I was diagnosed, and I barely remember.
Well, yeah, you were 4. I didn't know if you talked. And I'm sure maybe it's changed in 25 years.
Yeah,
too,
it
right?
probably has. They've come up with a lot of new methods, from what I understand, in that department. Mm-hmm. And we've come a long way with the autism rates. From what I understand, and I could be corrected on this, but it seems like we have higher rates, not just because there are higher rates, but because testing has become more sophisticated, where years ago, the only place where you could go to get a diagnosis, one of the only places, was the Marcus Institute in downtown Atlanta, especially. It seemed like it was a long way away, living in Fairfield Plantation at that time, going all the way to Atlanta for a diagnosis.
Sure. All right, Taylor Clark Duncan, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. Taylor Clark Slim Duncan. Mixing the sports there a little bit. Diagnosed with autism age 4. He is now the founder of the Alternative Baseball League, and he's been running that for 9 years. Next year's going to be a big year.
Yes.
You have plans for that?
Pretty big plans, pretty ambitious plans for next year as well. And really, not only do we have events featuring our athletes, but sometimes former professional baseball players participate. Local community leaders participate as well, and we think there's somebody that will sponsor our game next year at the original Bull Durham Stadium in Durham, North Carolina. And there might be someone, I'm in talks with somebody else about potentially sponsoring Rickwood Field, and then our programs up north, They want one at the Field of Dreams in Iowa. So we'll see how we do raising the funding to be able to cover the venue costs there. But that's definitely something we want to see happen next year.
For the big 10th year. Get you then have a game on ESPN or something like that. Or
that'd be fun.
ESPN Plus. I mean, it's
a good streaming service. Not paid to say that.
Yeah. Time right now is 8:40. We'll take our first break and come back and continue our show. We're going to have a video here in our second segment too that we'll show. But when we talk about that topic, Joel's going to play that. You're going to want to stick around and see that. You want to know what the video is about. So come back after this break. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health and Oak Mountain Academy.
Consider the Mobius strip. Take a strip of paper, twist it, connect the ends. This connection forms a continuous loop. Seamless, infinite. That's how your healthcare should be too. At Tanner Health, the Mobius is our symbol and our promise, representing our continuum of care and our commitment that the services you need will be here for you always. We're not just changing healthcare, we're redefining it. See more at tanner.org.
Mountain Academy is a vibrant community built on innovation, academic excellence, and a 64-year legacy of shaping community leaders. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school at Oak Mountain Academy, inviting you to visit the mountain and experience firsthand the passion, purpose, and personalized education that defines our school. Come see how our mission and vision come to life each day. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us so that you can discover your journey on the mountain, where every path leads to purpose.
8:41. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice. My name's Colin Worthington. My guest is Taylor Duncan. He is founder of Alternative Baseball, and we're about to delve into exactly what that is now. So
Let's
maybe
do it, man.
10 years ago, you got this idea?
Yes, sir. 100%. I'd been playing and coaching slow pitch softball for a time, and before that I had 1 year of youth baseball where I had a great coach that year who emphasized more about the fun and more about developing your own individual skills and challenging yourself. And really that's the same framework we try to have in alternative baseball, not just as a competitive structure, but one that takes Wooden's pyramid of success philosophy into serious consideration as we really work on helping them challenge themselves and their own skills. And in a way, the only adaptations is the type of ball that we use, but also, too, we have those who are pitched to overhand, underhand, some swing off the tee stand, but it doesn't sacrifice the quality of the game that's being played. You still have your outs, you still have your balls, strikes, still have players pitching. Sometimes they can hit the strike zone, sometimes they can't, just like in the bigs. But we're a wood bat only league as well. But I started it because at the time there wasn't really any adult resources in the Cobb and Paulding and Carroll County areas at that point for those like myself on the autism spectrum. And it was about giving back and experience to others to where they can really learn and enrich and grow in their own ways as well.
Now, it's in 12 states at this point.
That's right, yes, sir.
Are there 12 teams?
We have some states that have more than others. We have around 20 programs in 12 different states.
And how do they function together? I mean, are they playing each other? Are the
It depends on the needs of every individual community. Some do more of the community games, not just because there may not be another ABO program next to them, but because they want to spread the wealth and the goodwill and to really collaborate with those local community leaders and provide networking opportunities for those athletes as well. Now, Bluefield and Beckley, they've got a great rivalry going on up there in West Virginia, and they've done a heck of a job up there. Everybody in our organization's done a heck of a job, and we're looking at getting the Carroll County program finally up and off the ground this fall.
Well, what's that going to take then to get that up and going?
We're trying to find more volunteers. We're trying to find more athletes to serve in the area. Can be 15 years of age and older, any skill level, any experience level. And right before I was hospitalized with sepsis pneumonia last year, I had talked to Tad Ferguson over there at the Carroll County Rec Complex, and they had agreed, them and Chairwoman Morgan had agreed to give us a field for practice over there.
Oh, very nice.
So we have what's needed to get going. We just got to get the folks to sign up and get going.
Do these teams, the teams that you have, the 20 teams, do they have nicknames? You get the Trash Pandas and things like that?
One of our volunteers wanted to call it the Carroll County Splitters. We have that one. Rome's still working on there. We have the Cobb County Blue Devils. At one time, we had the South Bend Pierogies, based off of
Indiana,
their whole culture, subculture up there. We have the Fort Wayne Woodchucks. Louisville's fixing to get back up and going. I think they're going to have a new name up there since it's been a while since they've had a team up there. You have the Beckley Mioneers, which basically is a combination of miner and mountaineer. And then you have the Bluefield Railbirds that pays homage not only the railroad tracks there, but they have a history in the Appalachian League and the Rookie League because they were once the
Orioles,
rookie, the Orioles and the Blue Jays affiliate there before they transitioned to summer collegiate ball when Manfred decided he was going to contract those minor league teams. Yeah. It's a great league up there.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad to hear that. 846 right now, our guest, Taylor Duncan. How about statistics? I know there's one statistic we're going to point out here shortly, but we'll lead into that. Are you guys keeping books with statistics and know who's got the best average every year? And things
it's more so about individual growth, really.
I do like to keep going back to that. Yeah,
pretty much, yeah. It's all about the fun of the game and how you can personally grow yourself. It isn't so much competing against others as much as it is challenging yourself every time you get out there to do a little bit more and more and more every single week. Mm-hmm. The thing is, too, every town, it's going to be so different in the needs and the skill levels of their players to where they might have to take a slightly different approach than other teams. They may rely more on the community games than playing against other teams. Especially, we had one game years ago that was a stark reminder of why really we shouldn't have gone the competitive, ultra-competitive and tournament route, because up in Indiana, we had one team of those that had played Special Olympics softball for years, and they were competitive on that state level and had won state games. But in Indianapolis, around an hour and a half south of South Bend, what happened was they had a lot of those that were still high school aged and those that required more supports than those in South Bend. So what do you think happened in that entire game? I think South Bend crushed them in a couple of innings. That's not what this is about. It's really in every game, even in the community games, we try to split the teams in half to where it's going to be a fair deal for everybody participating.
Mm-hmm. There is one stat that you are aware of, though.
What's that?
I believe it is the first home run that was hit in the Alternative League Baseball, and that happened maybe, 2 months ago?
It happened on June the 7th, good sir, yes.
And I bet you know the exact time, too, and the weather, temperature.
Yes, because we were partnered for that event with the Atlanta Braves organization, and Wes Helms, Marvin Freeman, and Charlie Culberson came out for that event. Great folks.
Yeah, three guys.
I loved getting their guidance that day. Trust me, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience and event. But we had it at original landing spot for alternative baseball where we started the very first practice and the very first program in 2016. And really with that, we played a good 7 innings or 2.5 hours. But the biggest thing with that is one pitcher was pitching to me. I'd been playing ball with this guy for years, but I was filling in on the other team because we had one team of players from Columbus and Auburn area, and we had one from Carrollton participate. And then the other team was those from Cobb and Paulding County. And I was filling in for the team of those obviously south of Paulding, just because they needed an extra warm body out there. But the Braves gave all of us our own Braves jerseys, and we played in those, as you can see on the video on our Instagram at Alternative Baseball. Follow us, everybody. And
the video's on our Facebook
absolutely.
Right now.
Yeah. And I was throwing this one pitch. It was a ball. It was way outside, but I was focused on the next one. And then what I was just focused on was, okay, just meet the ball in the middle of the barrel. let the bat do the talking. Don't overexert yourself. Don't overdo it. Just relax and let the ball ride it out there for you. And that's pretty much the simplistic way I can explain that. But it took us 9 years to have anybody with a disability hit one over the fence.
And that was the first one, and that was you.
That's right. And this is the ball right here in this case right here. And I brought it today, West Georgia. And man, it was I couldn't believe it.
Probably on cloud nine for the next 2-3 days.
It was definitely afterward. Charlie Culberson came up to me and asked me about my approach and my swing and my style toward approaching that kind of pitch. And this ball, it's much harder to hit for distance than it is a traditional
we really
baseball.
have worked hard over the last 10
Because
years
flight
to
limited,
get to this point where
and
we're
the
at
bats
today.
we used,
And if it
they're
worked for-
maple. The ones that Wes Helms Bat Company donated, Camwood Bats out of Waynesville, North Carolina, they donated them to us for Rickwood, and then we used those same bats for our events pretty much month after month after month that we're having games. And so when this ball hits the bat, it tends to absorb the energy because this is hard rubber. This is not cork, and like a regular hard ball is. And so it tends to eat a lot of that momentum before really it could take maximum flight. So it's flight restrictive, and then it still happened. It's harder to hit a home run with with wood than it is aluminum or composite.
True, yeah.
When you're swinging heavy maple, you really have to generate that bat power to hit it over. And even with that one only been around 309, 310 feet, 310 feet.
Still, that's huge, yeah.
Wes Helms told me in a major league stadium it could have gone about 80 or 90 feet further than that with a traditional hard ball inside of a stadium.
I want to say left field and Wrigley might be 340 or something like that. So it's not too far off, you know. That's and after you hit your home run, we're going to go to our break here. But after you hit your home run, you were very peaceful and calm, and just kind of walked around the bases, as you can see on the video.
Oh man, I was excited because we had worked toward that for 9 years, and it was a collaborative effort because everybody's developing their skills, and that was a culmination of all of our efforts.
Did everybody know that was the first one?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I think there were guys in the outfield who were cheering for you on the other team.
Yeah,
they were
definitely. There was Charlie Culberson putting his hands up and letting everybody know it over the fence.
All right, we get some very important things we want to talk about in our final segment. We'll come back with about 6 minutes. Continuing our conversation with Taylor Duncan, founder of Alternative Baseball. We'll be back after this.
Consider the Mobius strip. Take a strip of paper, twist it, connect the ends. This connection forms a continuous loop. Seamless, infinite. That's how your healthcare should be too. At Tanner Health, the Mobius is our symbol and our promise, representing our continuum of care and our commitment that the services you need will be here for you always. We're not just changing healthcare, we're redefining it. See more at tanner.org.
Do the math. At Oak Mountain Academy, our average graduating class has just 12 students. We celebrate a 100% graduation rate with more than $10.5 million in college scholarships offered. Plus, 96% of our students are accepted into their top choice college. Do the math. Can you see the value of an OMA education? I'm Patrick Uran, head of school at Oak Mountain Academy, and I'm here to help you do the math. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us so that you can discover your journey on the mountain, where every path leads to purpose.
8:55. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice. Colin Worthington with Taylor Duncan, founder of Alternative Baseball. Doing a reminder, he's speaking at the Rotary Club of Bremen today. That's at 12 o'clock.
Gonna be
noon.
fun.
And his talk, Alternative Baseball, Changing Lives on and Off the Diamond, and it is designed to challenge your perspective on inclusion, sports, and community impact. So again, that's at 12 o'clock. Something you definitely want to talk about, new leadership curriculum.
Most definitely. So it's not just the baseball. We want to prepare them with the life skills that they need for life off the baseball diamond as well. Anything that they can learn and pretty much test through their alternative baseball experience on the diamond and off the diamond. We want them to really learn as many new concepts as they possibly can, because we started interviewing Major League alumni when they've been coming and participating in our games, not just about their careers, but really the mental psyche and the leadership philosophy that they took that led them to be successful on that high level, because it's common within so many other sectors and how people find success in the rest of life as well. And Chris Hammond, who pitched for the Reds and the Braves, we've got a clip on our Instagram. He would say that employers would ask about a sports background. Did they play sports? Did they play sports? Because it oftentimes taught them the grit that they needed to be good employees and eventually good leaders as well.
How about you? Chris Hammond, I think, also was on the inaugural Marlins team. Like first or second year.
I believe so.
He was on there pretty early. All right. Big game coming up in Temple in November.
Yes.
You want to tell us about that?
Most definitely, yes. So we have an exciting event on November the 1st at Temple High School, where we'll have our athletes playing alongside local community leaders and former professional baseball players. Johnny Estrada and former Braves reliever Anthony LaRue told me that they think they're going to have the free space on their schedules to show up, and it's going to be an exciting time, an exciting event. We're probably going to work on moving that event to the 11 o'clock hour because we know that it's competing with Georgia and Florida later on that afternoon. And, of course, once football happens in the South, you kind of got to be home to watch it. And that's the biggest thing with that as well, too.
Now, are you still recruiting ball players for your team?
Yes, absolutely. 100% for all of our programs. So you can go on alternativebaseball.org to sign up, to participate. And very soon, we'll have more information regarding our new esports league that's going to have a developmental leadership, life skill focus through the new re-release of Backyard Baseball 2001 that has now former professional baseball players like Chipper Jones, Randy Johnson, Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire, and this thing's amazing, and really it's a good introduction to coaching a baseball team for those with disabilities that need a more simplified approach. And we'll be designing a whole experience around this re-release of the game that's on Steam and on the Apple Store to be able to work on those individual skills as well. I played this as a kid when I couldn't play sports growing up. This is what I played while I was still developmentally growing when I lived here in Carroll County, as well as in my years in Paulden when I was much younger. And now this is simplistic enough and nostalgic enough that draws the 20s and 30-somethings to where, you know, it's a very simplified approach that we can use this to teach many aspects of the game of baseball.
Well, you are a fascinating cat, Taylor, I promise you. And,
we're trying to diversify every way we can and to reach as many as possible.
You got 1 minute. Maybe you can tell me one or two people that you've met over the last decade that meant a lot to you, whether it was a message they were able to deliver or you're just in awe because of their baseball skills.
Well, I want to give thanks to God, and I want to give thanks to my mother and everyone who's ever helped me get to where I am today, because now I feel this calling from God, and everybody should feel this calling and go after whatever it is that they want to go after in their lives and honor those who have ever helped them get to where they are today. We all have the skills, we all have the capabilities in some which way, form, or fashion to inspire others to go after their dreams. And that's really the most important thing. We should never give up on the things that we aspire in our lives, no matter what it takes.
You are a star, man. Thanks for coming out.
Absolutely, man.
Good to see
Thank you so much, West Georgia.
We will talk to you again before November. Again, we'll remind everybody about that game a bit closer. All right, thanks for coming out, man. Thanks to your mother for being out here as well. And
absolutely.
Thank you for watching Community Voice, brought to you by Tanner Health and Oak Mountain Academy.